Hi everyone, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another stamp talk in the Spink Auditorium. I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds whilst people enter the live webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. I can see people entering now. Well, it's wonderful to welcome Prokop Shirakiti. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who is the president of the F.I.A.P, the Federation of Inter-Asia Philately, to the Spink Auditorium. And we also have here Marcus Orsi from David Feldman and also the Museum of Philately, who's going to lead the conversation with Prokop. And I'm going to hand over now to Marcus. Thanks, Marcus.
Yes, well, welcome everybody. As Isabel was saying, you know, it was a brainchild of both Isabel and myself to say we want to reach out to our Asian partners, and I have had a friendship with P.H. who was the past president for many years through my involvement in David Feldman, and then obviously in recent years have met and spoken to Prokop many times. So it was an exciting opportunity. And I said, Isabel, you know, I'll just give Prokop a call and see if he would be willing to be involved in Virtual StampX. And it's such an exciting opportunity for us in London, if you want. I'm in Ireland at the moment, but in London to have, I mean, we were talking earlier at the opening, there's 98 countries represented in Virtual StampX, which is fantastic. You know, you would never get that at a normal StampX. So that it's great. And so it's a special pleasure to introduce Prokop. Really, we want to showcase what the F.I.A.P is all about. We want to reach out both to the collectors and, of course, the dealers as well, because you know, the PTS is a dealer organization. So we would love to partner with dealers in Asia as well, but also with collectors and entice them to come with their collections, perhaps in the future to a StampX. Perhaps, as I've got another hat, the Museum of Philately, try and get collections on the Museum of Philately. So it's with great pleasure to introduce Prokop to our event this morning. Welcome, and over to you, Prokop.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting us and F.I.A.P to be presented at the StampX. We'd like to present our organization. As some of you have already known, F.I.A.P, or the Federation of Inter-Asian Philately. We are like a continental federation of the stamp collectors. The F.I.A.P was one of the three continental federations at the moment: the Latin America, the Europeans, and the Asian. The formation of the Asian Federation started in early 1970s, with a meeting between the prominent and enthusiastic philatelists from Asia and also Australia in Singapore on December 16 through 17, 1922, for 2 days. And as a result, there was a pro tem executive committee consisting of chairman Dr. Soichi Ishida from Japan, who is at the time was a member of the F.I.A.P board. And the vice chairman is from Iran, Mr. M.S. Khorshid. And general secretary is Mr. Ko Sichuan from Singapore, with the committee members from Malaysia and Indonesia, and some other founders at the time from Australia, Hong Kong, and Thailand. After the formation of the Pro Tem Executive Committee, the founding members and the Executive Committee has worked hard to form the Asian Philately Federation. And finally, it was registered in Singapore on September 14, 1924, with Indonesia, Iran, Hong Kong, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand as the founding members. Though we say that the F.I.A.P was a young international philatelic organization, but with the never-ending efforts of our founding members and the executives that took place afterwards. With their devoting work, it had put Asia in a respectable status in the world of philately today. And our F.I.A.P past presidents, with first one with Mr. Ishida from Japan, followed by Mr. Ishikawa from Japan, and then followed by Mr. Chatia from India, who later becomes the F.I.P president, and followed by President Mr. Tay Peng Hien from Singapore, who's also become the not only the F.I.A.P president, but also the F.I.P president. And lastly, the outgoing president, Surajit Kongwatana, who was also the F.I.P vice president. And at the moment, the F.I.P family has over 30 members, consisting of from Australia, New Zealand to most of the countries in Asia and some countries in Africa. And for the F.I.A.P Federation, we also have something we call the F.I.A.P Grand Prix Club. As we all know, at every exhibition, there will be Grand Prix awards, the Grand Prix d'honneur, the Grand Prix International, and the Grand Prix National. And these Grand Prix winners, we form a thing called Grand Prix Club. At each of the exhibition, the members of the Grand Prix Club will be invited to show one page of their treasure exhibits in the court of honor in recognition of their achievement in winning either one of the 3 Grand Prix awards. And at every exhibition, the exhibition organizer will provide the participating Grand Prix Club members with a ticket to all the functions, such as the opening ceremony, the Palmarès Award function, and the participating members will be invited to receive the souvenir medals on the stage at the Palmarès Award dinner to recognize their achievement. At the present, the Grand Prix Club office bearers is the President William Kwan from Hong Kong, the Vice President is Michael Ho from Chinese Taipei, and the Secretary is Dr. Kazuyuki Inoue from Japan. Thank you for your kind interest and attention. If you need further information, please kindly visit our website at worldwideweb.asiaphilately.com, or for further queries, please feel free to write us at secretariat@F.I.A.P Asia, and we will respond as soon as possible. Thank you again for your kind interest and attention. If there's anything that we can clarify or explain further, please let us know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, so we come to a sort of a little bit more of an informal part of our discussion, which would be more some questions and that I'm going to ask you, Prakash. But one question which I don't want to put you on the spot, but one question which comes before I start getting into other questions I have for you is, what's the vision for the F.I.A.P going forward, especially in the view of what we're all living in our world with the virtual part of stamp exhibiting, the virtual part of how we can't meet in the same way in exhibitions. Have you as an organization talked about that? Is that something that's in your minds?
Yes, thank you, Marcus. I think with these unfortunate COVID pandemic outbreaks, many of us has feel that, okay, now we will live in a new normal things. The physical exhibition may be less, nobody knows for the time being. And for that response, we have discussed about it, how to move forward. And one thing is possible is that we try to encourage so-called virtual exhibition, like many of our members have done it. Like I would say South Africa, they had started the virtual exhibition with the one frame exhibition even before the COVID pandemic, but just one frame class only. And the way they ran it is that because, as we all know, the exhibition, the physical one, the main thing is the exhibit, the items, the material itself. So we need to see the items to be able to evaluate the exhibit itself. So for South Africa, what they did is that it's in each city or in the so-called region, they have like the jury, and the exhibitors have to bring their exhibits, the actual exhibit, to the jury in that center or region to verify that the file of the exhibit that they send for the competition is according to the actual material that they have, he or she may have, so that it can be confirmed in the beginning that, okay, it's the same thing. But whether it was genuine or forgery or anything is another thing, right? And then during these pandemic outbreaks, some other countries members has started doing it too, like the Bangladesh or the India. They had started, and there are lots of people participating in it, which is very good, have a very positive response. And personally, we all think that the virtual exhibition is good, at least in the sense that it gives the exhibitor or the collectors a chance to show their exhibit or what they are trying to form the exhibits. And this will give the exhibitor to get a feedback from the jury on their exhibit, how to improve it, how to make it better. And not only in terms of exhibit, it's also good in the terms of like disseminating the knowledge or sharing or discussing of the on the philately side. Like many of our members, like the Hong Kong Philately, Hong Kong Society, they try to hold at least once a month the Zoom seminar or discussion on certain topic. Likewise, not only Hong Kong, Indonesia, Australia, and other countries, they also follow suit, having this so-called seminar or sharing, discussing on the topics of their interest, with each of the member try to present what they had and then discuss about it. So it's good that not only that the members, only members from that country, but members from other countries worldwide can also join. Like for the yesterday, I also joined the Australian presentation. Weeks ago, I joined the Hong Kong seminar, and last month, also the Indonesian topic on the thematic, things like that. So it's very good that this new normal and with the new modern technology enable us philately to share knowledge and to discuss more, and easier for us. Like Marcus, you can show me the materials that you have in hand instead of like the old days, you take picture, you can show online, and then we can discuss it right away live. And if we need further information or we need further material, we can discuss right away. So it is very good, but again, with this kind of thing, it needs all the philately, whether the exhibitors, the collectors, the dealers, or the federation to work together. How to move forward and make it work to benefit everyone. Because the world of philately, if we have only exhibitors and collectors without the dealers, there will be no exhibits, because I don't believe that any exhibitors has all the materials he would like to have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I was part of a webinar a week ago that was hosted by the APS, the American Philatelic Society, and the discussion was virtual exhibiting. And the comment that I made, which is, I would like to ask you, and I don't know whether PH wants to say something as well, but one of the things that concerns me is that as a collecting world, we need to, as you said, Prakub, to be united. And how
Yes.
do we let's say, in other words, maybe through the F.I.P, maybe through another organization, I'm not sure, we have to bring rules and regulations together to encompass this new normal of virtual exhibiting. I mean, one of the exciting things that came out of this webinar was the fact that an actual virtual exhibition and a virtual exhibit can be something that when you view it, you can have links within the exhibit to information. So you're on your virtual exhibit and you've got a link. So if you want to know about the provenance of a piece, you can click on a link and it'll tell you who the collector was, what his history was. You have a link to perhaps a historical, like for example, if you're showing a collection of Thailand and you want to talk about one of the kings, you can click on and you can see who he was and what it is. So it becomes an interactive event rather than just a stat like before, which was wonderful, but it becomes a interactive participation by the viewer, which is going to be obviously the way in which we're going to get younger people involved, because once they can interact, it's not a static thing. It's something that's living, and it's something that it can grow and develop. And so I just wanted to ask you what you thought about how we can pull the various organizations together to form a body that's going to be able to take virtual exhibiting forward in not just in an informal sense, but in a formal sense.
Yes, thank you. That's a very interesting questions. And actually, may I say that in F.I.A.P, many of our exhibitors had discussed or talked about it. And then because when we have the so-called the barcode,
Yes.
or the scan, yes, many of the exhibitors asked me if it will be possible that he or she may put something like the QR code or the barcode.
Yeah.
So that because you as a dealer, you have seen more materials than the exhibitor, and you know which material is so rare, so good, so excellent. But maybe not all the exhibitors or all the visitors knows and appreciate the material as the one who knows it, the importance of it, how rarity it is, how difficult to get it. But with this additional information through the barcode or through the QR code, then the visitors and also the exhibitors, collectors can appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Because when they scan this, they will know more information like how rare it is,
Yes.
how many pieces it exists, how come it was so rare, how did it happen.
Yeah.
But again, this, like you said, need to be discussed and how to do it, because during the physical exhibition, as we all know, we have a limited time to walk through or view the exhibits.
Yes.
Even if you are not judging, you are as visitors. If you spend a minute or half a minute reading the page, which is quite brief, because for the exhibitor, we have limited space in the page. So you cannot write too many things. You want to show things and write briefly and concisely. But this additional information is something that will make people more enjoyable and appreciate the materials and the story more.
Yes.
So I agree that we need to come up with ways of doing this And with virtual exhibition, this may be even more feasible to do it
Yes.
because you have more time. Not like the exhibition. Exhibition, you may have 4 or 5 days to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
So you don't have all the time you need.
Yeah.
And not only for the visitors or the viewers, but in terms of the exhibitors and the jurors. With these so-called virtual instruments,
Yes.
we can submit or send the scan of the exhibits to the juror first beforehand. So they have more time to study it and understand it more and appreciate it more. Rather than just spend a few days at the exhibition and try to view it and make notes of the highlights, how to improve it, what is the good point, the bad points for the exhibitors to improve it. So it is a very good idea and it need to be pursued more
Well,
by maybe first forming the working committee, working
absolutely.
group from the dealers, from the exhibitors, from the jurors,
Yeah.
and all work and try to come up with what you like to see with
Yes.
this thing and how to go about it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
yeah. Sorry, Praka. One of the things that came out from our discussion, and this is obviously there's a lot of collectors who are not technology up with technology.
yes,
So what we want to do, or what we need to be thinking about, is how can we create technology which is easy to use. So
yes,
collectors don't need to learn the technology, but they have a product, whether it's a program or an application or whatever, which makes it easy for them to scan and upload their images, enter data and so on and so forth, so that it's easy for them. Because
yes,
I'm sure a lot of collectors would just say, I'm not technically minded, I can't do it. So that's one of the big challenges. But I think with technology today, it should be quite simple.
yes, I agree that there are lots of things to go with this virtual or the online things.
Yeah.
The most important thing is, like you just mentioned or from the webinar, that whatever it will be, it need to be easy to use,
Yeah.
and easy to apply.
Yeah.
Because not all the exhibitors are the computer man or technology man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we may have something like for them to just, okay, if you want to add this, then you just click this and add whatever you want to add,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that's why first we need to get together and then try to gather the idea, okay, basically what is needed and how we can proceed with it.
Excellent. Well, fascinating conversation, actually. I didn't expect to go on that direction, but it's good to talk. Maybe just tell us, Prakab, a bit about your own journey. How did you start collecting? Share with us a little bit about your own exhibiting.
Oh, okay, thank you. Well, I think most of us in the older days, in the years back, there's not a laptop, not a mobile phone, smartphone for us to play with. So many of us at the time, we are fascinating or quite interesting when we saw our parents receive some letters from abroad or even within the country domestically. On the covers, you will see the stamps. And usually those stamps, as I remember it was very lively, very colorful. And as a boy, I always fascinating with the stamps from abroad, with the train, the locomotives, or the sailing boat, those
Yeah,
one with the
sure, absolutely,
sails,
yeah.
things like that, or even the animals. And I remember the backyard or the Hungary, I think, right? Backyard stamp. They have the out shape like a triangle, or
Yes,
instead
yes,
of
yes.
the square like that, they have like a different off shape. So it was very interesting as a boy. Oh, this is nice. So I start collecting that. And I think by doing that, it's also make me fascinating. Oh, what is this picture about? You know, especially the animals, they are cute, and what kind of animal or what kind of trade and what kinds of people. Sometimes they have the portrait of the people, make you more interested in, oh, who is he, why he is so good that they put him on the stamps, something like that. And when we grow up, I mean, when I grow up, I happened to be at the stamp show. So I'm make me more interested in, oh, wow, it's so interesting to write a story.
Yes.
To me, competition is like writing a story, but the storyline is based on the stamps and things related to the stamps itself, whether the usage of the stamps, the production of the stamps, the essay, the things like that. So that makes me interesting, and later I try to form my exhibit. And with the help of my colleagues like Kun Surajit, Dr. Pichai, and President Tay, they advise on, oh, if you want to make a story like my exhibit is about traditional philately. So they say that, okay, for traditional philately, you should have these items, and your storyline should be so and so. So that's how I start my exhibiting and improves it onwards.
What's your favorite piece in your collection, or what's your favorite item that you've ever had, basically?
Well, actually, I would say maybe it's all true with the all the collectors. As collectors and exhibitors, it seems to me like every piece is important.
Right.
No matter whether it was a $1 piece,
Yes.
or $10,000 or $100,000.
Yeah.
As long as it has the something that fits or click in the storyline.
Yes.
Sometimes, the link between the story is maybe just a $5 stamps.
Yeah.
So to me, everything is very very nice, and I love them all.
Well, that's a great answer, because often, as you say, we get sidetracked into fame and rarity and value, and sometimes, and I'm a collector myself, sometimes it's an insignificant, for most people, an insignificant item, but as you say, it's the link, it's the thing that brings it connects the story, as you say.
Yes.
Yeah. Going on to another subject, you recently signed the role of Distinguished Philatelist with the Royal in 2019. What did that? I mean, what did that mean for you? I mean, what was your feeling when that happened?
Okay, thank you. Of course, I think my feelings probably be the same as everyone who got the honor. First thing is that, okay, you feel so happy. I am happy because of the recognition that okay, I may have do something good, that the people recognize it, and in getting it, it's mean that it's not myself alone who gets it, because I cannot do it by myself only, because the criteria of the RDP, one of that is the contribution that you make to philately world. And
Yeah.
by contributing something to a philately world, it's not just me. Like when we are hosting the exhibition, whether the Asian level or the world level F.I.P, it's not myself only, but with my colleagues, with my senior members. Every one of us try to put something together to make it happen. But of course, maybe I, as the head of the organizing committee or something like that, got recognition for it.
Yes.
But actually, it's not me alone, but it's all the people involved. but I may be just like representing them.
Yeah.
But of course, personally, it's very honorable, feel honored to get recognized and get the award or the recognition.
Wonderful. Again, jumping to another question and something actually that I was involved in certainly in 2000 when we had a meeting in Geneva. Tell me a little bit about the Grand Prix Club and where you feel it's going to be going. I mean, I suppose it's very similar to the discussions we've had earlier, but where do you feel the Grand Prix Club it was and is going?
Yes. Okay. I think the Grand Prix clubs at the F.I.A.P level or F.I.P level, the world level, they basically work on the same thing. That is, every exhibition, we have the grand award winners, the Grand Prix d'honneur, the Grand Prix national, Grand Prix international. And for exhibitors, it was a privilege to win on one of these Grand Prix awards.
Yes.
Because you are not competing just by yourself, but you are competing with the rest of the exhibitors in that certain category.
Yeah.
So it was quite an honor. And as the Grand Prix Club, we are trying to make it more lively and more participation. At each exhibition, we all know that there will be a place we call the Court of Honor.
Yes.
And at this place, we invite all the members of the Grand Prix Club to show one of their treasure items. First, it is like a recognition of their achievement in winning one of these awards. But secondly, and more importantly, we want the exhibitors or the visitors to view these items and then to appreciate it, because these items maybe not put in a competitive or competition class, because once they win the Grand Prix d'honneur, things like that, they will not show it anymore.
Right.
And during each exhibition, we try to make like a short seminar or presentation among the Grand Prix Club members on the developments of their exhibits or the sharing of their exhibits. Because like Marcus, you have interest in forming your own exhibit.
Yes.
But maybe more than half of the exhibitors didn't know in details what it is.
Yes, yes.
So during this function, it is a good opportunity that we think that these members share their story.
Yes.
So that the other fellow members or the other visitors know it more about their exhibition.
Yes.
I'm sorry, more about their exhibits and
Yes.
appreciate it or understand it more.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, we're slowly, I think we've covered most of what we wanted to talk about this morning, but I just wanted to ask PH, do you have something special you want to say?
Well, I think the interesting part has been covered by both of you. And my good friend Prakop, I speak very well for F.I.A.P. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you
Thank
make
you, sir.
more people understand about F.I.A.P.
Yes, well, great. I mean, you know, again, PH, this was the plan all along, was to, you know, to reach out to the F.I.A.P through virtual Stampex, and maybe just a comment from either of you, perhaps Prakop as well. Prakop, what do you think of the virtual Stampex idea?
Well, it is personally, I think it's very good. I have followed it since last year when it's first time coming up in place. It's good that people can gather, and with this technology, it's not only during this daytime or office open hours that we can visit. We can visit 24 hours.
Yes.
And like those talks, like maybe like this one,
yeah.
After we do it live, it will be put on the record or show later.
Absolutely.
So people can come later and view it.
Yes.
And especially those exhibition that you put in place, it's good that people have more time to view it instead of need to rush through during the open time. You can spend more time viewing it and studying it more.
Yeah.
And also in terms of the dealers, it's good that dealers from all over the world can come, and then you can visit and check the items or discuss with them, or exchanging the ideas, or want what you want and you like to have, blah blah blah. Whereas at the physical exhibition, some of the dealers, they cannot attend every exhibition in the world.
That's right.
So some exhibition they will be missing. But
Yes.
these are virtual. That's give an opportunity for the exhibitors, collectors, dealers, and visitors to come and join together.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
very good.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's great. I mean, I think we're all, as much as we're all struggling in different ways, we are also emboldened by this opportunity, because we all knew, even before the pandemic, we all knew that the world was moving towards a virtual world, but we were all scared. Honestly, we were scared about stepping into it, because we didn't want to lose what we had before, because we'd spent so many years creating it and developing it. But now we had no choice. And in fact, it's forced us to think differently. And I think for our hobby, for the hobby of philately and postal history, stamp collecting and postal history, I think it's been a revolution, because it's what we've needed, because it never would have happened this way if we haven't had the pandemic. We would be still living in a sense in our past, trying to slowly change into the future. Well, now we have no choice. We have to move forward in a virtual world, a virtual capacity, and it's opening up opportunities that we never thought was possible. I mean, and that's hugely exciting. And, if I can plug the Museum of Philately, that's one of the passions that I have, heading that up. I mean, we're sponsored by David Feldman, but the passions I have is to showcase great collections and really give them an interactive experience. So I think there's so much going on. But coming back to my original point at the beginning, and I can speak to PH here too, because he's a seasoned politician in the world of philately, is we need to pull the peoples together to form something that the whole hobby can get hold of, and really launch a new way of exhibiting, a new way of collecting. It doesn't mean that the old way is over, not at all, but the new way, certainly for young people, what a fantastic opportunity. They can actually build their own collections virtually, and they don't actually have to be somewhere. They can be in their own home, and they can be encouraged and educated on how it happens, and so on and so forth. So this opportunities are huge. So again, Prabhat, thank you for being part of the conversation today. Again, wanting to thank Suzanne and Isabel from the PTS. I'm a PTS member and on the board, so I've been behind the virtual Stampex from the beginning. But we want to thank you again. Our desire is to promote our Asian sponsors, our Asian brothers and sisters. So we're thankful that you and F.I.A.P were able to be part of this. And of course, we hope that the next 3 days brings some interaction that's interesting, and that you can interact with various different people throughout the show. So do you want to say a last word?
Okay. Yes. Marcus, thank you very much for giving us F.I.A.P this opportunity to participate in the Stampex and making people know more about us. And like you said, in this this new normal after the pandemic outbreaks, or maybe another pandemics coming in the future, it will force us to move forward. And this also open the great opportunity for us to make our hobby becomes more lively, not just waiting for the so-called physical exhibition to be taken place and get together. Now we can socialize more.
Yes.
Like some club members or some countries, they have like a meeting seminar or meeting online. So this is a good opportunity. And then we, the exhibitor, collectors, the federations, and the dealers have to work together to move forward together for the philately, how to make it work. And like you said, maybe in the future, not only the competition based on the actual materials, but maybe open, like you can use your imagination doing things like that.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
that remains to be seen.
Sure.
That would be very interesting.
Yes.
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 Thank you again for this opportunity for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prokop, and thank you, PH, for seeing your face. It's good to see you.
No change. Not affected by COVID.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Well, listen, gentlemen, F.I.A.P, Prokop, PH, thank you very much from me, Marcus Orsi, from David Fellman, the Museum of Philately, and Virtual Stampex. We're signing off and have a great show. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.